Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today I've got the Veronaville introductions for you. As you can see, it has been made over. There are just so many houses on the Capp side of the river, and I made them all over. They all look good. As you can see, I did turn some of them into apartment buildings, because several of them were just like, there's two lots on this, like two buildings on this lot. This one is technically two connected, so it's just like, we're gonna make some of these apartments to have something a little bit more affordable. And then there's just 4 houses, because I added a 4th house on the Monty side of the river. But it took me a while, but I finished it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. But now we will jump into the introductions for the Sims themselves, starting with the main Capp house. Okay. So we have the Capp house here. I do have a couple of people to give credit to for this, because this is the downsized Capp manor by, oh my gosh, now I can't remember who the creator is. I have it bookmarked, so I will link it down below. But somebody took the original Capp manor, which is on an absolutely massive lot, and just brought everything farther forward so that it is a lot smaller, because otherwise Sims are always late to their carpool and stuff. And then the actual floor plan is from, I think it was Jody Sims. Again, I'll link it down below, just because the original Capp manor had a kind of wonky floor plan, but I like this better because it's got nice big rooms for everybody, and then plenty of room downstairs. So I think that this works a lot better, and I really like it. It's really pretty. And then tons of plants that are kind of overflowing over the fences, but it's fine. And then the Sims themselves. So we've got Consort Capp here, who is an interesting looking man, but he is the grandparent, or like granddad of Tybalt, Juliet, and Hermia. He is fortune and family, with the lifetime want, earn 100,000 simoleons. He has a job in business, so he might be able to accomplish that before he dies, we'll see. And then Tybalt is the eldest kid. There. He is popularity and pleasure, with the lifetime want, become rock god. And then we have Juliet, our middle kid. She is very pretty. I love Juliet. She is family and pleasure, which is an interesting combination, so we'll see what happens there. I need to make sure I find that desk. And then Hermia is the baby of the family. Oh my gosh, my thing is glitching a little bit. There we go. So there's Hermia, and she is family and popularity as well. And she has the lifetime want, become the law. And I don't think I said what Juliet's was. Juliet wants to become a game designer. So we've got that. Yeah, there's not much else to say there. Hermia does have a little bit of a relationship with Puck. They have crushes and are in love, but only one chemistry bolt, so we'll see. She does have a want to have her first kiss with Puck, which I locked, so we'll see if that happens for either of them. Juliet is in love with Romeo, but they're not actually dating. I thought they were, but apparently not. They have 2 bolts of chemistry, though, so we'll see if that relationship stays or not. The last time I did an Uberhood, she actually ended up with Rip Grunt, which was an interesting combo, but I kind of loved it. And then Tybalt doesn't have any crushes or anything on anybody. He's just enemies with Romeo and Mercutio Monty. And then he knows everybody else in Veronaville and really doesn't have good relationships with anybody. Like, he's literally friends with his grandpa, and that's it. he despite being a popularity sim, he's not very good at making friends. So yeah, that is the main Capp household, which will be first house I play in the round when I get to Veronaville. And then we will go to Sorry, my throat's really dry, so all of a sudden, we will go to the next household. Alright, up next is the Monty household, across the river on the Monty side of the river. They've got a pretty standard house. It's a very interesting, like, kind of open floor plan, but not entirely. I wasn't really sure what else to do with it, so I pretty much kept it the way it is, just, like, changed the actual doors and arches themselves. It's not an architecture style that I'm used to, because I live in America, and we don't really have houses like this up here in the Pacific Northwest where I live. So I didn't really want to do too much, because I didn't want to, like, completely change the architecture style, and then I also didn't want to do stuff and accidentally ruin it, and, like, show how little I know about this style of housing, so I kind of just kept it the same. But for the Sims themselves, again, we've got some elders with their grandkids. So we've got Patrizio and Isabella. Patrizio is family and fortune. We've got a couple aspiration benefits, we'll leave those. So he's family and fortune with the lifetime want earned 100,000, just like consort. Isabella is family and romance, which should be kind of interesting to see if that means that she has any affairs in her old age. We'll see. And she does want to have 10 simultaneous lovers, so we'll see. I'm not usually too concerned about actually completing lifetime wants for Sims that start the game as elders, because it's just a lot of work to complete them. So we'll see if they end up doing that. And then kids here, we've got Mercutio, who is popularity and family, and his lifetime want is become ecological guru. And then we've got Romeo, who is unofficially dating Juliet because they're not actually going steady. But he is romance and pleasure, so he is really just here to have a good time. And his lifetime want is to become city planner. And that's them. There's really not much else to say there. Yeah. He's got he's actually not in love with Juliet, which is interesting. So Juliet is in love with Romeo, but he's not in love with her. So that's kind of sad. And then Mercutio, it looks like, has 1 bolt of chemistry with Miranda Capp, and 2 with Tybalt. Heck yeah. Okay. So they're currently enemies, but we might turn this into an enemies to lovers thing, because that would be fun. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because I also don't want to have Sims only get with Sims who are in their current neighborhood. I want them to be open to doing inter-hood relationships. So I don't want to immediately just be like, oh yeah, he's gonna get with Tybalt, because there are 2 other neighborhoods that also have teen Sims that he might get along with. So we'll see. He does apparently have a crush on Hermia, which I don't remember seeing a crush from Hermia. So that's interesting. Got some one-sided, like, crushes and loves for the Monty boys, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, that's the main Monty household, and then we will go to our next household. Okay, so next is the Summer Dream family in this absolutely massive house. They have a bigger house than the Capp family does, but that's fine. Yeah, it's massive. I still don't entirely love it, but I think the only thing I could do is just to, like, scrap it and completely build them a new house from scratch, which I really don't want to do. So we're keeping it the way it is, and I might kind of look around for inspiration on floor plans from, like, other people who have made it over, and see if I can find something I like better, because I don't love it. But it's fine. I think this stair situation really bothers me, because usually, like I've done on this side, I do this little thing that hides the wall so that you don't see the stairs itself, but I can't do that with these because they're right next to each other, so they don't work. And I could not get it to work without like having a little bit of wall sticking out. So this situation bothers me, but I like the way that they've got this up here. Like, this is cool. I just don't like the situation down here. So I think the stairs is my biggest gripe with the house, and also just the massive size of it. But that's not what we're here for. Oh, sorry, Oberon. Out of this bath so I can show you all 1 second. Okay, so as you can see, everybody in the Summer Dream household are fairies. I'm using a mod by Midge the Tree on Tumblr. I will link to that as well. I'm going to have a lot of links in the description today. But it introduces fairies, and it's perfect for the Summer Dream family because they are all named after characters from A Midsummer Night's Dream, and you cannot read that play that is all about like magic and all of that stuff and not have them be fairies. So we've got Oberon Gossamer. He is knowledge and pleasure. And then we've got, and his lifetime want is become celebrity chef. And then we've got his baby mama, live-in girlfriend, Titania, who is so close to the wall. Oh my gosh. Let's try and do there. Okay, this is terrifying. Let me just put the walls down instead. That's not down. Oh my gosh. You would think I would know how to play The Sims. I don't know why she's in her underwear either. Oh my gosh. There's Titania. She is family and pleasure with the lifetime want become visionary. She wants to adopt a baby and also get engaged to Oberon, and Oberon wants to get married, so that will be like the first thing that they do is get engaged and pretty much immediately married. And then I'm pretty sure that these are their kids together. I don't think that they're adopted. Let me double check memories. They are adopted. Okay. So we've got Puck and Bottom, Summer Dream, and they are both adopted. Well, Puck finished making his bed. There we go. So yeah, we've got Puck here. Very cute. I love the red hair and light blue eyes. He is popularity and knowledge, and his lifetime want is to become space pirate. And he, in love with Hermia, which we knew from her. He does have a bolt with Miranda Capp as well, so that could be potentially interesting. And then negative chemistry with Juliet, which is fine because I wouldn't make him do that. Like, I wouldn't make him dump one sister for the other because that's just rude. And then Bottom is still asleep, but she's super cute. And she's still a kid, so she doesn't have an aspiration or anything like that. And she's pretty good friends with most of the other kids in town. The only kid she's not friends with yet is Beatrice Monty. She does not like Tybalt for some interesting reason. But then just pretty standard relationship with everyone else. So yeah, that is the Summer Dreams. Yeah, absolutely massive house. Might at some point do like an overhaul of the floor plan, but we'll see. I'll stick with it for a little bit, see how well it actually plays, and then decide what I want to do there. But we will go on to the next household. Okay, so up next is the Capp household A, I guess. B, I don't know how I'm going to actually like name these. But it is Goneril Capp and her husband Albany and their brood of children. So yeah, we've got Goneril, who is kind of the matriarch of this family because she is the one who's actually a Capp. Her husband just took her name when he moved in. So she is fortune and family, with the lifetime want become business tycoon, which business is kind of like the job For the Capp family, the Montes are most of them are in culinary, and most of the Capps have jobs in business. I think that's supposed to be like the different gang type family job thing from the original Romeo and Juliet, where they're like, you know, differing families that are feuding, and so that's kind of the thing, is like they all work together. So I think that works out perfectly for her. Also, being a fortune sim, I feel like business is kind of just a standard thing for her. So we'll see if the other Capps stay in that though. And then we've got Albany, who has the poor Sims in Veronaville just have some interesting facial structures. Like, just look at that. Look at those cheekbones. they could cut glass. Anyway, he is family and knowledge, and his lifetime want is to become chief of staff. And he already has the want to have another baby. Like, they already have 4 kids, and he wants another one. So we will see if that happens. Their eldest is Miranda here, who is playing with little sister Desdemona, which is super cute. She is romance and family, and actually has a want to fall in love with Lilith Pleasant from Pleasantview. Because I did play the Pleasants for a little bit, and Miranda was able to meet Lilith, and I think they both rolled as bisexual. Now I'm not entirely sure. Let me double check my spreadsheet. 1 second. Yes, they did both roll as bisexual, so we will see if anything happens there, because that could be kind of fun. But also, Miranda is a romance sim, so the chances that she's actually going to settle down are very slim. Did I say her lifetime want? No, I did not. Her lifetime want is to woohoo with 10 different sims, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be one of those things where, especially because she is romance/family, she kind of dates around a little bit to try and find, like, the one sim to settle down with. So she's gonna date around, woohoo a couple different people, try and figure out who's the best fit, and then she'll settle down. We'll see if she rolls any wants for that. That's kind of what I like to do with, like, romance/family or family/romance sims, is, like, they want the big family, they want to settle down, they just kind of want to date around a little bit first and have some fun before they do that. So we'll see, especially because she also has a want to flirt with Lilith. But anyway, that's beside the point. The next oldest is Hal, and he is super cute in those gigantic glasses. I absolutely love them. So he's a child, so no aspiration or anything for him. And nothing really of note here. He's friends with Bottom, but that's about it. Just kind of standard relationships with everybody else in town. And then we've got Desdemona, who is another super cute sim. Like, Albany and Goneril have interesting faces, but their kids turned out pretty cute, which is nice. She is also friends with Bottom, and then just has kind of standard relationships with everybody else. And she does want to be friends with her brother Hal, which is kind of cute, so I did lock that one. And then the baby of the family is little Ariel, who is probably the one who's going to end up, I feel like, looking the most like her parents. Just looking at those kind of squinty eyes, I feel like she's going to be interesting when she grows up. We'll see. She is friends with Dad, which is cute, and then pretty close to being friends with Hal, and everybody else is just kind of normal. And this is their house, because I never actually showed that earlier. So yeah, it's got some pretty small bedrooms for the kids, but there were at least room for all of the kids. Like, that was kind of the hard part with finding a house for them, is that a lot of the houses in Veronaville are a little bit on the smaller side. So it was like trying to find houses that had enough room for all of the kids was really challenging, because they've got 4 kids and Albany wants another. And then just downstairs is standard. So yeah, that is Goneril's family, and we will go to the next household. Up next is the first Monty backup household, I guess, Bianca. So when I play, I am going to kind of, like, I'm going to do the 3 main households and then switch between Capp, Monty, just to kind of try and break it up a little bit. But Bianca Monti is the first one. She is super cute. I absolutely love her. She is family and romance, so we'll see what happens there. In a previous Uberhood, she did kind of start a romance with Nina Caliente, which again was an interesting one. I super loved it. Nothing ever came of it because neither of them rolled any wants to get married, and Bianca didn't even end up having a kid. Despite being a family sim, she didn't manage to get pregnant, which was really weird. But she did have a romance with Nina Caliente, which I kind of loved. And she is technically living on the Capp side of the river, purely because all of the houses on the Monty side are way too expensive, and she only had like $22,000 to start with. So she has this very tiny house that she has a bed and a stove and a counter. But she has work, so hopefully she'll be able to go to work on her first day and come home with a promotion and get money to buy, you know, a fridge and toilet and stuff. But she's got stuff. She's got some stuff. So it's going to be interesting. Her first week will probably be really tough as she is just trying to furnish her house. I might end up having Patrizio and Isabella send her some money to help out, just because I feel bad that she has $140 and can't afford anything else. So we'll see. But she is friends with Kent Capp, and her dad. Friends with Oberon, enemies with Goneril and Regan, along with Cornwall, Albany, and Consort. Like, she does not like the Capps. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting. She doesn't have any chemistry with Kent, though, so I don't think anything's going to happen there. So I am curious to see who she will end up with, if anybody. And I don't think I said her lifetime want. I graduate 2 children from college, which is pretty easy. So we'll just have to get her some kids somehow. Yeah, that is Bianca, and we will go to the next household now. Okay, and then the second to last household in Veronaville is the other Capp family, which is Regan and her husband, Cornwall, and then brother Kent. So we've got Regan here. Ooh, going through the wall. So we got Regan, who is fortune and romance, with a lifetime want to become mad scientist. So she will be leaving the family career of business to get a job in science instead. She does have a want to have a baby, which I did lock, so we'll see what happens there. And then her husband is Cornwall. Sorry, my voice was starting to get a little weird. He is, oh my gosh, he is also fortune. I'll do that so you can see him. Fortune and knowledge, and his lifetime want is become chief of staff. And he does have a want to get a job in the medicine career, so we'll end up doing that at some point. And then Kent, who is, I'm pretty sure, the youngest of the Capp kiddos. I think. There's really no easy. I think he is the youngest. But anyway, he is knowledge and pleasure, and his lifetime want is become celebrity chef. So he will most likely get a job in culinary, which should be interesting because that is, like, at least in the lore of Veronaville, is like the Monty job. So that'll be interesting. But he is best friends with Bianca, friends with Titania, and enemies with Isabella, Patrizio, and Antonio Monti. He doesn't really like Consort, but they're not enemies, which is kind of interesting because that is his dad. He also really doesn't like Cornwall, which is kind of sad that he doesn't like his sister's husband, but he also doesn't really like his sisters, so he's just kind of not close with anybody, really. So yeah, and then their house is pretty standard, and again, they ran out of money because the houses in Veronaville are expensive. So they've got at least the important stuff, and then I think, of course, Regan is the only one who has a job, so she's the only one who's going to go to work and get money for them. But Cornwall and Kent will at least attempt to get jobs, and hopefully they can find something soon and be able to go to work as well to help with money, so that they can, you know, buy a dining room table and, like, couch and stuff for the living room. So we'll see. And yeah, so that is going to be Regan's house, and then we will go to the last family in Veronaville. Okay, and then the final household in Veronaville is Antonio Monti and his, I think they're twins. Yes, twins, Benedict and Beatrice. They are, again, living on the Capp side of the river, technically, because they couldn't afford a house on the Monti side. So this is their house. Room for each of the kids, room for Antonio. They didn't have enough money to furnish the downstairs bathroom, but they've at least got one upstairs, so it's fine. So they're doing a little bit better than some of the other houses in Veronaville when it comes to furnishings, but it's still not perfect. But that's fine. And then, so we've got Antonio, who his favorite color is purple, and I could not resist this kind of funky outfit because it felt like it fit him so well. But he is knowledge and, oh, I didn't give him his secondary, 1 second. Okay, his secondary is fortune. I knew that I had figured it out, I just didn't actually give it to him. So he is knowledge / fortune with the want to become chief of staff. So we'll attempt that, I guess. He does have a job in culinary, because again, culinary is kind of the job for the Monties. And then up here we've got the twins, Beatrice and Benedict. So we've got Beatrice and, oh my gosh, Benedict. I do like that they got different colored eyes. It's interesting. I wonder if he got his eyes from Mom, who is dead. But anyway, yeah, so they're both kids, so obviously no aspiration or anything for them. So Beatrice is friends with Antonio and Benedict, but nobody else. Very close to being friends with Bottom, though, so that'll probably happen. And then Benedict is also friends with Beatrice and Antonio, and friends with Bottom, which we knew from the Summer Dreams. But then pretty close. I mean, like acquaintances with everybody else, I guess. Pretty close to being friends with Puck, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see if that happens. Lock that one, I guess. Gosh. Sorry, my throat. So yeah, that is the final household. So we'll back to the main neighborhood. So yeah, I am very excited to actually start playing Veronaville, especially now that I've finished all of the makeovers. And there's just a lot of potential for drama, especially with Veronaville and Pleasant View. So between those two, I'm very excited because, you know, here you've got the Capps versus the Monties and like some potential relationships between them, which could just cause a lot of people to get upset. If you play into that and like stick with that where, oh, you date this person, I'm gonna be mad at you. And then Pleasant View, there's just so many people who are in romantic relationships with each other, but none of them are married, so there's a lot of potential there for drama if they get caught, and I love it. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with my playthrough this time, because every single time I play Pleasant View, something different happens. So I'm very excited. Strangetown of the three is definitely like the calmest and least dramatic, I would say. It's pretty much just families being normal. And I'm very excited. I'm about halfway done with the makeovers there. I've done 4 of the houses, and I've just got like 2 more that are currently inhabited by people. And then just need to find houses for two of the other households, which might include doing some houses from the lot bin, because the houses in the Strange Town are kind of tiny. So we will see, but that shouldn't take me too much longer, so hopefully that one will be the next video. But that will be the end of this introduction today. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!